The chlorine-scented air hit me like a slap as I hauled myself out of the pool, water sluicing off my skin in the brutal July heat of Los Angeles. My towel was God knows where, probably tangled in that mess of beach chairs by the bar, and the sun was dipping low, turning the rooftop into a furnace. That's when he appeared. This guy with sun-bleached hair and a grin that cut through the haze like a knife. "Hey, you look like you could use this," he said, tossing me a faded blue towel that smelled faintly of salt and something earthier, like pine after rain. I caught it mid-air, our fingers brushing just long enough to send a spark up my arm that had nothing to do with static. "Thanks, man," I muttered, draping it over my shoulders, but he didn't walk away. Instead, he leaned against the railing, eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made my stomach flip. "You know," he said, voice dropping low like he was sharing state secrets, "I've been watching you swim laps for the last hour. You're not just cutting through the water, you're fighting something. And damn if it isn't the hottest thing I've seen all summer." I froze, towel clutched like a lifeline, heart slamming against my ribs as the city sprawled out below us, indifferent and endless. Who the hell says that? To a stranger? At a condo pool in Echo Park? But there he was, Alan, though I didn't know his name yet, standing there unapologetic, like he'd just bet his soul on the truth and won. That moment stretched, taut as a wire, and I felt exposed in ways that had nothing to do with being half-naked. I'd come to this rooftop to drown out the noise in my head, the fresh scar of my breakup with Wayne still throbbing like a bruise no amount of laps could erase. Wayne, with his easy laugh and promises that turned to ash. We'd met at a dive bar in Silver Lake 2 years back. Back when I thought love was a straight shot, no detours. Alex Rivera, 28, graphic designer by day, reluctant dreamer by night. Mexican-American kid from East LA, scraping by in a city that chews up hearts and spits out sequins. Wayne had been my anchor, or so I told myself, tall, broad-shouldered, with that Midwestern charm that masked his wandering eye. But 3 weeks ago, he'd packed his shit and left for San Francisco, chasing some tech startup dream that conveniently didn't include me. "It's not you, Alex," he'd said over lukewarm takeout tacos. "It's the grind. We both know it. Bullshit." I'd seen the texts, the late nights. Betrayal tastes like rust in your mouth. So yeah, the pool was my escape, a borrowed slice of luxury from my roommate's fancy building. I didn't expect Alan. He was all California golden boy, mid-30s, maybe, with laugh lines that crinkled when he smirked, wearing board shorts that hung low on hips dusted with freckles. "Name's Alan," he said, extending a hand still damp from his own dip. "You, Alex," I replied, shaking it, feeling the calluses on his palm. Surfer? Contractor? The mystery hooked me deeper than I cared to admit. We talked as the sky bled orange. Easy at first LA traffic horrors. The best hole in the wall to carry us. How the Dodgers were choking again this season. But under it all simmered that spark. His gaze lingering on my collarbone. My knuckles. The way my towel slipped just so. By the time the pool lights flickered on, casting blue ripples across the deck, he'd convinced me to grab beers at the bar downstairs. "1 drink," I told myself. Harmless. The bar was a dimly lit cave of exposed brick and vinyl stools, the kind of place where screenwriters nurse hangovers and influencers fake authenticity. We slid onto stools at the corner, knees brushing under the scarred wood. Alan ordered IPAs, hoppy, bitter things that matched the twist in my gut, and as the foam settled, he leaned in, So, what are you fighting in that water? Alex? Job? The whole damn apocalypse. I laughed. Sharp and too loud. But it cracked something open. Words tumbled out. Wayne's ghost. The empty apartment. The freelance gigs drying up like the LA River in summer. Alan listened. Really listened. His blue eyes steady. No pity. Just this quiet fire. Sounds like he was a fool, he said finally, clinking his bottle against mine. But you're not. Guys like you rebuild. Stronger. Heat flushed my cheeks. Flattery or truth? Either way, it stirred something dormant. A hunger I'd buried under playlists of sad indie rock and late-night scrolls through Grindr that went nowhere. By closing time, we'd swapped numbers, and as he walked me to my beat-up Honda in the lot, his hand grazed my lower back. Electric. Text me, he murmured, lips close enough to taste the hops on his breath. I nodded, speechless again, driving home with the windows down, wind whipping through my wet hair like absolution. The next week blurred into a fever dream of texts that escalated from memes to midnight confessions. Alan was a high school English teacher in Pasadena, divorced 5 years back from a woman he'd loved but never ignited with. It was comfortable, he typed one night, stars emoji punctuating the dark. But not alive. He quoted Whitman at me. I am large. I contain multitudes. And I fired back Neruda lines I'd memorized in college lit classes. Our first real date was tacos at a truck on Sunset, grease-dripping carnitas and horchata that stuck to our fingers. We laughed until our sides ached, then walked the boulevard, his arm slung casual over my shoulders like we'd been doing it forever. When he kissed me under a flickering neon sign, soft at first, then urgent, hands framing my face, I melted into it, Wayne's shadow dissolving like smoke. It was too fast, too real. Alan had this way of seeing me, not the polished version I showed the world, but the raw edges, the anxiety that gnawed at 3 a.m., the imposter syndrome in my sketches, the quiet pride in my heritage that I'd sometimes let slip. We spent weekends at his bungalow in the hills, mid-century modern with creaky wood floors and a backyard lemon tree heavy with fruit. Mornings tangled in sheets that smelled of him, coffee brewing as he read aloud from battered paperbacks. Sex was revelation, exploratory, tender, fierce. His touch mapped me like uncharted territory. Whispers in the dark. You're beautiful, Alex. All of you. Chasing away the doubts Wayne had planted like weeds. But cracks formed subtle, insidious. Alan's ex-wife, Sarah, started popping up in texts. Forgot to pick up the kids' soccer gear. He had 2 boys, 8 and 10. From the marriage, custody every other weekend. I met them at a park in Griffith, awkward at first, tossing a frisbee while they eyed me like an alien. Dad's friend, Alan introduced, casual, but the word stung. Friend. Not boyfriend. Not yet. The kids warmed quick. Little Jamie with his gap-toothed grin, tugging me into a game of tag. Ethan, the serious one, quizzing me on Marvel lore. Alan watched from the picnic blanket, eyes soft with something like hope. They're good with you, he said later, as we drove back through the canyons, sunset painting the dashboard gold. Means a lot. I wanted to believe it. God, I did. But Wayne's ghost lingered, a low hum of distrust. Late one night, scrolling Instagram in the glow of my phone, I saw it, Wayne's profile, updated bio, new city, new chapter. SF vibes. A photo of him at some rooftop bar. Arm around a guy with tousled hair and a jawline that screamed venture capital. My chest tightened, old wounds ripping open. I texted Alan on impulse. Ever wonder if you dodged a bullet or just delayed the crash? His reply came swift. With you? No crash. Only forward. Lies we tell ourselves. The first real fight hit like a rogue wave. 2 months in. We'd planned a weekend getaway to Big Sur. Crashing waves. Redwoods whispering secrets. But Sarah called Friday night. Voice tight. The boys had the flu. Could Alan cover? Duty pulled him back, canceling our escape. I understood. Rationally, kids come first. But the resentment bubbled. It's always something, isn't it? Work. Life. When's it my turn? Alan's face hardened in the dim light of his kitchen. Lemon scent cloying. This isn't about turns, Alex. It's family. Real shit. Family? I shot back, voice cracking. What am I? Then, the side quest. He reached for me, but I flinched. You're everything, he said, low and fierce. But I can't just erase the past. Give me time. Time. The thief of hearts. We made up in bed that night. Bodies bridging the gap words couldn't, but the seed of doubt took root. I threw myself into work. Mock-ups for an indie film poster. Late nights at my drafting table with Takeout Foe and Lana Del Rey crooning heartbreak anthems. Alan texted apologies. Flowers arrived at my door. Wild sunflowers. Bold and untamed. We rebuilt, brick by fragile brick, until the Pasadena Fall Festival, where he introduced me to his colleagues as my guy. Alex. Pride swelled. Hot and unfamiliar. Progress. Then betrayal slithered in. Cold and uninvited. It was a Tuesday. Rain sluicing the windows of my apartment like tears the sky forgot to shed. I'd wrapped a client pitch early. Decided to surprise Alan at school, coffee in hand. That stupid grin on my face. The lot was emptying. Teachers scattering like leaves. I spotted his truck. Blue and battered. Parked crooked by the gym. Laughter echoed from the side door, his deep and unguarded. I rounded the corner, heart light, and froze. There he was, Alan, pressed against the brick wall, lips locked with a guy younger, maybe a coach, all muscle and stubble. Not a peck, not friendly, hands in hair, bodies flush, the kind of kiss that devours. My coffee hit the pavement, splashing dark across the asphalt, but they didn't hear. Or maybe they did, because Alan pulled back, eyes widening in horror as he saw me. Alex, wait, the world tilted, sound rushing in like a roar. Distant traffic, rain pattering, my own ragged breath. Betrayal. Round 2. Wayne's echo, but sharper, because Alan had promised more. How long? I whispered, voice a ghost. It's not, he started, stepping forward, the other guy melting into shadow. Don't, I snarled, backing away. Don't you dare gaslight me. I ran then, blind through the downpour, to my car, tires screeching as I fled east toward the freeways that promised escape. Phone buzzed, texts, calls, but I silenced it, blasting through Koreatown, lights blurring into neon streaks. Home was a cage, so I drove to the observatory, Griffith's dome looming like judgment. Huddled on a bench, rain soaking through, I let it out, sobs that racked me, raw and ugly, the city an indifferent witness below. Days blurred into fog. I ghosted Alan, deleted the thread, blocked the number. Wayne texted once, "Heard you're single again." Karma? And I blocked him too. The final cut. Work suffered. Sketches turned jagged, colors bleeding wrong. My roommate, Lena, a no-nonsense nurse with tattoos snaking her arms, dragged me to yoga, force-fed me pozole from her abuela's recipe. "Men are trash," she declared over margaritas one night. "But you're gold. Don't let them tarnish you." She was right, mostly. But the ache lingered, a hollow in my chest where hope used to hum. Alan tried the old-school route. A letter slipped under my door, scrawled on notebook paper like a kid's confession. It was a mistake. One kiss, born of old habits and too much wine at the staff happy hour. "I love you, Alex. The real kind, the kind that scares me because it's forever. Please, love." The word mocked me. I crumpled it, but couldn't burn it. Kept it in a drawer with my sketch pads, a talisman of what-ifs. Weeks passed. LA cooled into tentative autumn. Pumpkins lining stoops in Silver Lake. Air crisp with eucalyptus. I swam again. At a public pool in Boyle Heights. Laps mechanical, chasing numbness. That's when Wayne resurfaced. Uninvited. A call from an unknown number. Voice slurry with regret. "Alex, man, I fucked up. SF's a joke. Too many sharks. Not enough soul. Come back to me?" Laughter bubbled. Bitter. "Back? You left, Wayne. With your new chapter. Write it without me," he pleaded. The script I'd heard before, promises, nostalgia. But this time, I hung up, chest lighter. Growth, maybe. Humanistic bullshit. Forgiveness not for him, but for me. The climax crashed in like a storm off the Pacific. It was Veterans Day weekend, the city thrumming with parades and barbecues. I'd holed up, sketching a mural concept for a queer youth center. Vibrant murals of intertwined hands, rainbows woven into desert cacti. A knock shattered the quiet. Alan, drenched from the drizzle, eyes red-rimmed, holding a six-pack of those hoppy IPAs and my forgotten towel from that first day, faded blue and threadbare. "Go away," I said through the crack in the door, but he didn't budge. "Can't. Not without fighting for this." He held up the towel like evidence. "You asked for this at the pool, remember? And I gave you more than fabric. I gave you my truth. Messy. Yeah. But real." I let him in, against every screaming instinct. We sat on the couch. Beers cracked. Silence thick as fog. He spilled it. The kiss was closure. A drunken echo of college experiments he'd buried deep. Sarah and I. We tried everything. Therapy. Open talks. But it was always half a life. With you, Alex, is full color. Vibrant. And I blew it because I panicked. Thought one slip erased us. Tears tracked his cheeks. Unashamed. "I betrayed you. No excuses. But if you'll let me, I'll spend every day proving I'm worthy. Not perfect. Just yours." The room spun. Emotions warring, rage, longing, that stubborn spark. I thought of Wayne's easy outs. The boys at the park with their innocent trust. The way Alan's hand fit mine like puzzle pieces. Human frailty, beautiful, brutal. "It hurts," I admitted, voice breaking. Like drowning. He nodded, reaching tentative. Then let me be your heir. We talked till dawn. Words weaving a fragile bridge. Boundaries. Therapy for him, and maybe us. Slow steps with the kids. No grand gestures, just gritty honesty. By sunrise, as light filtered through blinds in honeyed shafts, I kissed him, forgiving, fierce. Not erasure, but evolution. Love as verb, not fairy tale. Epilogue months later, we're at that same rooftop pool. Spring now, jacarandas blooming purple riots. The boys splash, Jamie cannonballing with glee, Ethan critiquing my form with mock severity. Alan lounges beside me, towel draped casual, his fingers laced through mine under the sun. Wayne, a postcard from SF. Neutral well wishes. Closure. I dive in, water-cool embrace, surfacing to Alan's grin, that knife-sharp one that hooked me. No speeches needed. Just this two men, scarred but swimming tandem, in a city that never sleeps but sometimes, miraculously, dreams. Life with Alan settled into a rhythm that felt less like a waltz and more like a gritty indie track, raw, unpredictable, but with hooks that kept you coming back. We moved in together that summer. My cramped Echo Park walk-up traded for his bungalow's lemon-scented sprawl. It wasn't seamless. My art supplies invaded his study. His dog-eared classics toppled my graphic novels from the nightstand. But mornings started with his lips on my neck, coffee brewing to the sizzle of chorizo and eggs, his boys tumbling in on weekends like joyful tornadoes. Jamie latched onto me fast, dubbing me Uncle Alex after I sketched him as a superhero, cape billowing over Pasadena's Rose Bowl. Ethan was tougher, his 10-year-old skepticism a mirror of my own guarded heart. You make Dad smile more, he admitted one afternoon, knee-deep in a model rocket build. Like, real smile. Not the teacher one. I ruffled his hair, throat tight. Kids see through bullshit. They demand authenticity. Work ramped up for both of us. Alan's school year kicked off with freshman lit debates on The Great Gatsby. Ironic, he joked, chasing American dreams that often ended in green-light illusions. I landed a gig designing album art for a queer punk band out of Long Beach, their sound all distortion and defiance. Late nights in the Garage Turn studio, Alan bringing tacos and critiques. That shade of crimson, its rage and redemption. Perfect. His belief fueled me, turning sketches into something alive. But conflict brewed beneath the domestic hum, subtle as seismic rumbles before the quake. Sarah hovered, not villainous but inevitable, a co-parent shadow with opinions on everything from Jamie's braces to holiday splits. Alan's always been impulsive, she confided over coffee one neutral drop-off day, her smile polite, eyes appraising. Just be patient. He loves hard, crashes harder. I nodded, sipping my latte like it was hemlock, wondering if her words were warning or weapon. Wayne, too, circled like a bad penny. After that call, he'd gone radio silent, but LA's a spiderweb mutual friends, chance sightings at art walks. One night at a gallery opening in DTLA, concrete floors echoing with clinking glasses and ironic small talk. There he was, sharper suit, SF polish, nursing a whiskey neat. Alex, he said, voice honeyed regret. You look happy. Good. I stiffened, Alan's hand warm on my lower back. I am. You. Surviving. His gaze flicked to Alan, assessing. This your rebound? Or the real deal? Alan's grip tightened, but his tone stayed even. The deal. Full stop. Wayne chuckled, low and forced, excusing himself to the crowd. But the seed lodged rebound. Was I? Or had Alan's betrayal branded us both? The real fracture hit in October, leaves turning amber in the San Gabriels. Alan's school hosted a fall fair, booths of caramel apples, hayrides under string lights, kids in flannel and face paint. I volunteered at the dunk tank, perched like a fool in a tuxedo t-shirt, enduring splashes from pint-sized assassins. Laughter rang out, pure and piercing, until Sarah arrived with her new boyfriend, a blandly handsome accountant type, all khakis and easy charm. They mingled, her hand on his arm, but it was the whispers that cut, parents side-eyeing, murmurs of Alan's new friend, laced with that California passive aggression. By evening, as fireworks cracked over the field, Alan pulled me aside behind the Ferris wheel, shadows dancing from the lights. They're staring, he muttered, jaw tight. Like we're some scandal. They're idiots. I shot back, but doubt gnawed. We'd kept things low-key at school events. No PDAs. Just Alex, my partner. Safe. But safe felt like settling. It's the kids, he said, eyes on Jamie chasing fireflies. I don't want them fielding questions. Not yet. Not yet. The words escaped, sharp as shattered glass. How long, Alan? Till Ethan graduates? Till I'm the phase you outgrew. His face crumpled. That's not. It is. Rain started, fat drops pattering the dirt. I'm tired of half measures. Either we're in, or we're not. He reached, but I stepped back, heart hammering. The fair's joy mocked us, cotton candy sweetness turning sour. We drove home in silence, the boys chattering obliviously in the back. That night, sleep evaded. I lay awake, tracing constellations on the ceiling, Wayne's rebound echoing like a curse. The next days were minefield, clipped texts, separate beds. Alan dove into lesson plans, red pen slashing like fury. I buried in work, the band's album deadline looming, colors bleeding violent on canvas. Lena called, voice a lifeline, fight fair, Mijo. Or walk if it poisons you. But walking, after Alan's letter, his dawn plea, felt like amputation. Climax brewed at the band's release show, a warehouse in Boyle Heights pulsing with bass and sweat. I invited Alan as olive branch, neutral ground, music as mediator. He showed, leather jacket over button-down, eyes wary but warm. We danced, bodies sinking to the riot, his hand finding mine in the crush. I'm sorry, he shouted over the guitar wail, for hesitating. You're not half. You're all. Hope flickered, fragile. Post-show, buzzed on cheap beer and adrenaline, we tumbled into the truck, lips crashing at a red light. Home was fever, clothes shed in the hallway, his name a mantra on my tongue. Dawn found us spent, tangled, but the afterglow cracked when his phone lit. Sarah, 6:17 a.m. Emergency. Boys need you, he groaned, disentangling. Go, I said, masking the sting. Duty called, always. But this time, I followed not stalking, just clarity. Drove to her place in Altadena, hills mist-shrouded. Parked down the block, watching as Alan arrived, scooping a teary Jamie into hugs. Ethan clung, pajamas rumpled. Sarah hovered, eyes puffy, boyfriend absent. Family. The word twisted, not jealous but aching. Where was my place in that circle? I drove away, tears blurring taillights. Betrayal revisited, not in infidelity but erasure. Home. I packed a bag. Essentials. Sketchpad. The blue towel folded neat. Left a note. I love you. But I can't be invisible. Figure it out, for us. The road called north. Toward Big Sur, the trip we'd canceled. Solo therapy for the soul. Winding Highway 1. Cliffs plunging to turquoise fury. Wind whipping doubts to seafoam. Stops at diners with greasy hashes. Motels with scratchy sheets. Sketches filling pages. Waves crashing like unresolved chords. Lone figures on bluffs staring inward. 3 days in. Phone died. Intentional unplug. Recharged at a caramel cafe. Messages flooded. Alan's. Raw please. I see it now. The hiding. This fear. Not shame. Come back. We'll tell the world. Sarah's. Surprising. He's a mess. Talks about you like you're oxygen. Even Wayne heard you're road tripping. Bold. Miss that fire. I laughed. Salty. Ocean air filling lungs. Human messiness. We betray to protect. Love to atone. Turn south. Heart lighter. The bungalow's lemons waiting. Reunion was no Hallmark gloss. Alan at the door. Unshaven. Holding my note like scripture. I told the principal. The parents' group. Alex is my partner. Family. His voice cracked. Scared shitless. But free. We rebuilt slower. Couples counseling in a strip mall office. Therapist with a noble shit mustache probing our scars. Dates intentional, hikes in Runyon. Hands clasped unapologetic. The boys adapted. Ethan drawing us as a team in his comic strips. Jamie demanding Uncle Alex bedtime stories. Thanksgiving, our first as unit. Turkey brined with Sarah's recipe. Truce extended. Her boyfriend carving. Laughter echoing. Wayne sent a card neutral. Healing. Under the table. Alan's foot nudged mine. Anchor in the chaos. Love. American style. Flawed. Fierce. Forged in freeways and forgiveness. Not perfect. But ours. Winter wrapped LA in its rare chill. A deceptive softness that masked the undercurrents of change. Our life together deepened. Roots twisting through the bungalow's floorboards like the bougainvillea overtaking the fence. Alan's openness rippled outward. School holiday party. He introduced me with a casual arm around my waist. Alex, the artist who's got me quoting more poetry than Fitzgerald. Eyebrows raised. Then smiles progress. Tentative as first frost. But romance thrives on friction. And ours ignited anew with a project that blurred our worlds. The Queer Youth Center I'd sketched for landed funding. A mural commission for their Echo Park walls. Bridges over barrios, celebrating stories like mine, brown boys loving bold in a city of contrasts. Alan volunteered his lit classes. Kids brainstorming themes over pizza. Identity as verse. Love as metaphor. We'd collaborate evenings. Jamie doodling stick figures of us as caped crusaders. Ethan critiquing composition with precocious flair. It was magic. That alchemy of art and words. One night, paint splattered and buzzed on cheap Merlot. Alan pulled me onto the roof, string lights twinkling like urban stars. To us, he toasted, clinking mason jars. Building something real. His kiss tasted of possibility, hands roaming with that familiar fire. We made love under the smog-veiled moon, bodies a canvas of sweat and sighs, reaffirming vows unspoken. Yet conflict loomed, insidious as inversion layers trapping the basin's breath. Wayne resurfaced, not as suitor but specter, hired by the center's fiscal sponsor, a nonprofit I'd pitched to. Small world, he emailed, professional veneer cracking with emojis. Coffee? For old times collab. I declined. But fate, or LA's incestuous networks, forced proximity at a budget meeting in Hollywood, fluorescent hum underscoring the awkward. He looked good, leaner, eyes shadowed with that Midwestern earnestness. No hard feelings? He asked post-presentation, over vending machine coffee. Water under the bridge, I lied, stirring sugar like it could sweeten the rot. But his presence stirred silt, memories of dive bar nights, his laugh echoing in empty rooms. Alan sensed it later, over takeout pad thai. Exes are landmines. Step light. I am. But doubt whispered. Was our bridge sturdy, or just spray-painted over cracks? The betrayal this time wasn't Alan's, but collective, a microaggression avalanche at the mural unveiling. Community bigwigs, rainbow flags waving, but undercurrents sour. A donor, silver-haired and suit-stiff, cornered Alan post-ceremony. Lovely work. But the personal elements might confuse the youth. Code for us. Our intertwined figures in the foreground, brown hand in pale, heart's pulsing color. Alan's jaw clenched, but he smiled through. It's meant to inspire. All of it. Later, in the truck, fury erupted. Confuse? Like love's a goddamn riddle? I gripped the wheel, knuckles white. They see us as exhibit, not example. The drive home devolved into shouts, his fear of backlash clashing my artist's rage. You don't get it, he snapped. Tenure's fragile. Kid's stability? Non-negotiable. And I'm what? Collateral? Tears hot. I pulled over on the 101. Cars blurring past like judgments. Fight for us, Alan. Or we're just pretty wallpaper. Silence stretched, broken only by distant sirens. He touched my cheek, thumb tracing salt. I'm scared of losing it all. But you're right. No more half-shadows. We made peace in a roadside diner, pie a la mode melting under fluorescent mercy. Vows renewed, advocacy workshops, ally training at his school. Humanistic grind, progress inch by inch, hearts bared. Climax crested in spring, cherry blossoms dusting Pasadena like fleeting confetti. Alan proposed not ring, but poem, handwritten on mural scraps. In your eyes, I find my multitudes. Marry me? Not for labels, but legacy. On one knee in the youth center, kids cheering, paint still fresh. I said yes, laughing through tears, sealing it with a kiss that tasted of fresco and forever. But joy's a trickster. Betrayal shadowed even triumph. Sarah called post-engagement brunch, mimosas and machaca voice-edged. Congrats. But the boys? Ethan's asking questions. About why two dads? School friends teasing. Alan's face drained. We'll talk to him. The evening fractured. Ethan withdrawn, poking at his enchiladas. Are you and Uncle Alex gonna leave like Mom and you did? 8 words. A gut punch. We knelt. Tag team honesty. Love's shapes vary, families bend not break. Jamie hugged fierce. Ethan nodded, eyes wise beyond years. But the seed, abandonment's echo lodged deep. Nights after, Alan tossed, murmuring case studies from EdPsych. I sketched therapy, figures bridging chasms, colors healing. Counseling resumed, family edition, Sarah included. Her input gold, kids need models, not perfection. Summer solstice brought catharsis. A road trip, all 5 of us piled in the truck. Highway 1 calling. Big Sur at last, waves thundering. Redwoods cathedral quiet. Campfires crackled stories. Wayne's folly a footnote. Shared laughs. One night, under Milky Way blaze, Ethan whispered, I like our family. Weird, but ours. Betrayal transmuted. Not end, but evolution. Alan and I, rings simple silver bands, vowed in a cliffside ceremony. Officiant a drag queen friend, boys as ring bearers. Vows raw, I betray my fears for you. Build with me, humanity's core. Love as rebellion, tender and tenacious. In America's sprawl, we carved our niche flawed, fierce, forever swimming. Marriage wasn't a finish line but a starting block, propelling us into deeper waters. The bungalow swelled with life. Wedding photos framed beside kids' finger paintings. My studio corner overflowing with commissions. Queer icons reimagined. From Stonewall to now. Alan's tenure sailed through. His syllabus now laced with Baldwin essays on love's radical grace. We hosted potlucks. Rainbow flags fluttering from the porch. Neighbors trickling in initial wariness melting to toasts. Romance evolved. Less fireworks, more hearth glow. Anniversaries marked with private rituals. Recreating that pool towel toss. Now with champagne splashes and slow dances on wet tile. Sex shifted too, still electric, but layered with intimacy. His fingers tracing wedding bands mid-thrust. Whispers of mine grounding the frenzy. Conflict simmered in success's shadow. My mural series went viral, LA Times feature. Instagram reels of youth posing proud. Gigs flooded. Book covers. TED Talk graphics. Alan beamed, but envy flickered, subtle as a sigh. You're blowing up, he'd say over dinner, fork pausing. Proud. But school's the same grind. I missed the cue, buried in deadlines. Wayne, ever the ghost. Emailed collab, SF firm's queer initiative. Your style fits. I accepted. Neutral closure cash. But late flights north stirred old rhythms. Hotel bars. Wayne's charm dialed professional. Happily hitched? He teased one night. Scotch neat. Blissfully, I replied, flashing the ring. But his gaze lingered, stirring silt. The betrayal brewed back home. Alan's unspoken weight. One evening, returning from a SF pitch, I found him on the couch. Laptop open to my feature. Comment scrolling. Hot artist hubby goals. His laugh was hollow. Fame suits you. Jealous, I joked, but his eyes darkened. Nod of spotlight. A pace. You're soaring, I'm treading. Words hung, heavy. The fight ignited next morning. Boys at Sarah's. Kitchen acrid with burnt toast. You think I'm leaving you behind? I accused, voice rising. This is us, we're a team. Team's balance, he shot back, coffee mug slamming. Lately, it's your show. I feel like scenery, pain lanced, echo of our fair fight, but reversed. Scenery? After everything, he deflated, head in hands. I'm proud. Terrified you'll outgrow the bungalow. The boys. Me. Vulnerability cracked us open. We canceled my next trip. Hunkered in, date nights reframed. His lesson plans my muse, graphics for beloved units. Toni Morrison's love as haunt and heal. Wayne's project? Handed off. Not worth the echo, I told him. Call ended crisp. Climax crashed in autumn gale. Venice Beach boardwalk alive with buskers and skaters. We'd escaped for a weekend. No kids. No clocks, just salt air and street tacos. But storm clouds gathered literal and figurative. News alert on Alan's phone. School budget cuts, layoffs looming. Art's first acts. We walked the waves. Sand gritty underfoot. His hand cold in mine. If I lose it, he trailed, voice whipped by wind. You won't, but fear gnawed, our stability, the boys' routines. That night, motel neon buzzing, he broke. Tears soaking my shirt, confessions tumbling. I betrayed us by hiding this. Doubted we'd weather it. I held him, fierce. We betray daily, small doubts, big fears. But we choose back. Dawn brought resolve, job hunt for him. Adjunct gigs in creative writing. My network tapped for school funding pitches. Human grit, love as scaffold. Resolution bloomed in winter's thaw. Alan landed a hybrid role. Pasadena High Plus online lit courses. Voice reaching wider. We adopted a rescue pup. A scruffy mutt named Whitman. Chaos incarnate. Holidays swelled. Sarah's crew joined ours. Tables groaning with tamales and turkey. Wayne a distant postcard. Toasting your empire. One eve. Poolside again, our ritual towel tossed. Words whispered. His next words. I do. Forever. Laughter echoed. City lights winking approval. In America's heart, we thrived. Dramatic dives. Emotional ebbs. Romantic rebounds. Humanistic holds. Speechless no more. Just spoken. Truly. Years folded like origami. Each crease a story etched deeper. The bungalow evolved, solar panels glinting. Veggie garden yielding chiles that scorched our tongues with joy. Jamie hit teens. Voice cracking into bass. Soccer star with my sketches as locker art. Ethan. Bookish rebel. Penned fanfic worlds where we were sidekicks. Alan and I, anchors entwined. Weathering squalls with seasoned grace. Drama punctuated the domestic. A documentary on my murals. Filming in our kitchen. Cameras capturing Alan's impromptu Whitman recitals. Boys' eye rolls affectionate. Premiere night. Red carpet nerves. His hands steady in mine. We got here together. Emotion crested in quiet moments. Alan's 40th. Surprise hike to the Hollywood sign. Picnic of our first date tacos. To the man who speechlessed me, I toasted. Ring-catching sun. His kiss, salt-lipped, reaffirmed, romance undimmed. Romance wove through routine. Stolen weekends in Joshua Tree. Stars carpet vast. Bodies rediscovering intented whispers. Still fighting something? He'd murmur, echoing that pool hook. Now, just to keep you, I'd reply, heart sinking. Betrayal's ghost, faded scar, lessons learned. Wayne married a tech bro. Invite declined gracious. Wishing you joy, his chapter closed. Ours epic. Climax revisited in midlife pivot. Alan's sabbatical. Co-authoring a queer lit anthology, my visuals. His prose. Launch tour. Coasts crisscrossed. Readings electric. Audiences hungry for our truth. But en route NYC. Delay strands us in Chicago, blizzard whiteout. Hotel huddled. There, in linen sheets stiff with starch. Old fears surfaced. What if this pulls us apart? Distance. Drift. I traced his lines. Silver-threaded now. Then we bridge. Always. Storm broke. Flights freed. Tour soared. Book bestseller modest. Homecoming. Airport hug. Boys mobbing. Pup yipping. Missed my muses. Alan grinned. Humanistic end. No tidy bow, but tapestry rich. 35. I mentor at the center. Brown boys blooming bold. Alan's classes pulse with our story. Love's plot twists. Redemptions earned. One dusk. Rooftop pool, tradition sacred, towel arcs graceful. Hey, you look like you could use this, I say, voice thick. He catches, pulls me close. And your words still leave me breathless. City hums below, our constellation above. In America's vast, we found harbor, dramatic, emotional, romantic, human. Speechless no more, eloquent in embrace.